Hello everyone, this is Gorax. In today's video, I'll show you an amazing progress I've made during the first day of Otherworld Exploration. I utilized all the testing that I've done and all the spreadsheet information into one and made great teams that were able to score what I could not do even at the end of the season in Season 1. So day 1 of Otherworld Exploration concluded a few hours till the reset. It was an exhausting day, I'm not gonna lie. I had to find as many teams as possible to hit 22 million on the bosses. No more than 22 million, that's the most important thing. We want to hit 22 million. So let's have a look at the bosses. I wonder if we can see something similar that we could see on different like challenge record. We can, right? So it's going to be a long list, and I think we're gonna start with the first few bosses that I started. So as you can see, Alton boss, I did him 3 times. The reason for that is my main team could do over 67 million damage. So what I decided to do is split this team into 3 different teams. So my first team basically assumed that I'm going to use my best healer / tank, Garius, with the weakest damage dealers. And in that case, that were Frost heroes. What you can find here, what might be interesting for you, is I used a hero with level 50 only, which is Hawkader, and I used him because level 50 unlocks our artifact slot, which can really change the outcome. And also at level 50, this hero can survive to like 5 stacks of the boss, and his job here was to give 30% attack to all Frost heroes. So that increased the damage of Usha, the damage of Drizzt, the damage of Rava, and we managed to do 24 million. With Alton, we could probably go over 30 or 18. That's how much the variance on the boss happens. And you can see that basically same strategy have been followed with other teams as well. This helps us to save resources. So what I've done most of the time is run 4 heroes plus 1 level 1 hero and then adjust. So second team was with a very good Ice Blast applier with Sheena and a kind of secondary damage dealer Sadie. Compared to Garfin, he's weaker, but he is still doing a lot of damage. Don't neglect him, he's doing amazing. Now this team doesn't have a tank. It used Quarion that I used in my main team, and it used Mithras. Well, as you can see, I even forgot to put a glove on on Quarion. So interesting, you see, mistakes were made, but still we managed to win. Mithras was constantly resurrecting Nord. Nord was there just to apply Witch's Remain. I had no one else to apply Witch's Remain. I didn't want to build Sheena with Witch's Remain because she had to supplement the damage of Sadek, basically. So I decided I'll bring Nord with Witch's Remain, and that's why I leveled him only to level 50, and he was able to survive till 5 stacks, where he eventually started dying, but Mithras was able to resurrect him, and we managed to do 30 million. Now, my most damage-oriented team with Garfin and Bledin, this is one of the best duos for free-to-play players. So I had enough damage. I knew I have enough damage to do over 22 million. I needed to supplement them with a tank and a healer. So I went with Defense Up from Jillian, and I went with Damage Absorb, Ally Protection, to make sure they survive. If they survive, we win. And obviously I had to bring someone for affinity bonus, and I decided to bring Arlo just because he has an attack aura. So this team otherwise will not have an attack aura, but with his attack aura that was enough, and that's why he's at level 30. I don't even need him to wear any artifacts. I only put him in for this aura, and even when he's down, dead, the aura still works. So the next teams I moved for were Talver. I believe Talver and Alton are the easiest ones if you have range damage dealers. So first I went with my Thunderbolt team, so Perkunte, exclusive artifact. If you've been following me, then you know, yes, I was fortunate enough and unfortunate enough to get Beldel. So I started strong. I started using the best tanks like Malak and Vikik as a healer, but then I downgraded because this team was doing too much damage. So I started downgrading and I started to using tanks that were weaker and healers that were weaker. So I used Lydia, who on her own can survive quite well because every 5th basic attack she grants a shield to herself. So shields works like healing. And then I also bring in a Hugh Cattle to apply more shields. She's not even scrolled. She's not even level 100 because that was enough. Level 95 was enough. Lydia could survive the whole battle. And I also brought in Nissa. I thought she can use Witch's Remain, but she couldn't. She didn't apply them. Maybe because, I don't know, the Electrocuted here doesn't apply it, but it didn't work. But still the team did over 25 million. When she applied Electrocuted with Manda, Perkunte was doing so much damage, and I don't know why I'm missing this certain items here. So, as you can see, maybe that's my mistake because I've been juggling equipment so often and adjusting it. At the end, I just run it the way it is. Or maybe this is how it shows here, but I was expecting it to actually show the whole items. But yeah, definitely something here, 25 million. And the next team was my weaker Dauntless team, weaker Dauntless damage dealers with Nimbus and Vani, but with the best tank, which is Malak. Not skilled though, okay? So if he's not skilled, I didn't really care about accuracy because we still wouldn't have 100% chance to apply it. So he's totally tank oriented. And I finally used the inspirations. I have 5 soul prints that don't want to turn into artifacts. So I finally used some of these inspirations, as you can see. And I used a weaker tank, weakened healer, Garian, who has some healing and a good single target heal as well. So that was quite useful. So that allowed me to use Vikik, my better healer elsewhere, and Shuk, who works similar to Iola with attack penalty as well as a recharge speed penalty. Well, it didn't work because obviously he needs to dispel a shield. So attack penalty here, and which is a remain on Shuk. And then my main damage-oriented Dauntless team. What do you mean damage-oriented? There's only Farival. Yeah, there's only Farival, and Farival is enough. Okay, he is amazing single target damage dealer, and I used him in season 1 and I'm using him in season 2, and as you can see, there's no one else doing damage, there's no one else buffing him, there's no other Dauntless hero. So I'm using Iola to support him with defense penalty and as well attack penalty to make sure Gareth survives, and he survives just fine. He's actually working really well. He's got attack penalty as well, but again, I'm not going for this accuracy. Iola's attack penalty is enough. Vikik to boost the healing, and I don't have a healing artifact. I still haven't cleared pillars, so I'm using Garius staff just for the haste, basically. He's never going to utilize this because his healing is not that great. But at least I got the haste, so I can heal more often. I can do the attack penalty through his battle skill because he's got accuracy, right? He's got accuracy. And then I'm using Garena. I don't even need a 5th hero in this case. I'm just using her for the affinity bonus. Her shield, that's 2k. Okay, 2k shield, which is nothing. I'm using her just for the affinity bonus and also a little bit of healing, you know? Because why not? And now I moved into Irzilas, which I believe is like a 3rd easier boss. If you have a good wild team, and I've mained wild team in season 1, so I could build 2 wild teams. I knew I can build 2 wild teams. The only issue was finding the right setup with healers and tanks. So I used Estella. Some of you might not like her, but she's actually quite decent. And I gave her haste staff as well, so she was shielding as well quite nicely. And I used the best tank, Questetia. So that's my best tank for this dungeon. Well, you could argue, really. But I use Questetia because she's got attack penalty, she's got a recharge speed penalty through this. And I didn't even build her tanky, I built her with attack up because my damage dealers, they are probably not that great, okay? This team doesn't, although they are wild, they do not synergize well. But yeah, that was enough, okay? That was enough to do 22 million. As you can see, barely 22 million. That was actually a kind of a struggle there to find a good RNG, but I've managed to do it. No skills, which in the end could also increase the damage. And we used Dane to prohibit the boss from gaining this attack. Okay, so he's getting this 20% attack. And with with stealing that, he was not able to do it. So that's why we used him, and we obviously put a serial set on him to boost damage of everyone else, and that was the rotation here. And then we moved to the main team, and I was actually quite surprised by the damage. Well, not main team, the burn team. And I was surprised by the damage this team could dish out. So I used, and that's why I said arguably Questetia was the best tank, but so is Horus. Horus is just a brick wall. And I leveled up his skills because the passive skill is what is the most important. If you're lucky enough to put 3 scrolls in and level up the passive alone, that's all you need. You don't need those other skills, okay? Passive is what makes him so tanky. And we have Liko. Liko has an amazing and short cooldown on her battle skill that grants a 20% target's max HP heal and defense up 2. So she's really good at keeping single target alive. On top of that, she prohibits the buff of the boss, so he doesn't have this 20% increased damage. And that's why we use her, and we build her with accuracy. And I put the hourglass on her as well, just to have that accuracy cap. I used Durham as a main damage dealer, with Lyle following him. Quite nice damage. It's not the damage of Arrakis or Ascetius, but it wasn't bad, okay? They did job. As you can see, 32 million out damaging the wild team. And Biggs to apply burn and serial set with accuracy, okay? So which is remain as well in that case. Then my last season main team with Neda. So Neda is the weakest point here, but we had to use her, and we basically made sure that we have this on, okay? So even without Neda, this team was still doing 22 million. So I didn't need to bring Neda, but I knew I'm not gonna use Neda in this team. I had to bring Dane. I had to bring some attack down because the idea here was to use Dane with Ripekas instead of her, but it didn't work, okay? With Estrella, Ripekas was just dying, so we had to put Questetia there. So shuffling around, I still ended up using Neda here. Isolde survived, as you can see, 30 million. She survived pretty nice. And we did damage with Felicity and Eric. Moving on to Shai now. So I knew this team that I ran here, at least the 4 core heroes, there will be enough to do 22 million. I just had to use a healer that is different than Zarlov. Because I needed a Zarlov in a second Shai Nocturne team. So I used Gladros here, and again, not skilled. It's just all about giving this debuff immunity as often as possible. That's why I'm using Spiritual Incest Burner here. Adri, full damage. Megan, tank. Questa, damage oriented, but also accuracy to make sure we have this ultimate energy steal. And Kurza, again, damage oriented with serial set and accuracy, and which is remain, okay? So this is a team you could see in a Shai Nocturne video with the difference of this. You could see Gladros there as well, and as you can see, I left him at 95 because he doesn't need these stats, okay? And then I moved to Jord. So I was expecting my main team to deal with Jord quite easily, but I had an issue with picking up a tank because I used Garius, and I knew I need 2 good tanks or healers in my second team. So I went with Elvis, and I didn't even scroll Elvis, as you can see, but his recharge speed penalty when he inflicts damage is quite good. It really slowed down the boss and allowed me to get to 5 minutes and not die. 26 million damage, Huberg and Taflin doing the damage here, with Rose supporting, Voresh as a tank, plus basically we want this buff prohibition so the boss doesn't have this passive damage reduction. And then second team, that was a struggle, okay? Getting this team to work was quite hard, and it also required me to manually cast Hegio's ultimate because I'm running 2 melee. So when the boss is about to fall down on the floor after the attack animation, that's when you need to use the Hegio's ultimate to the right side to avoid the total damage when you run into tanks. And it took me a little bit to practice this. I'm using Welby with damage, and Sagomir is trying to do this card on Welby. But obviously when they got damaged, it doesn't work this way, but at least at the beginning it does. Hegio with damage, both of them do enough damage, and then I tried to do this in a 4-man squad, just trying to assume if we can survive the 5 minutes or we can do enough damage, and it kind of worked, but I had to use Fessa to help out with Richard speed penalty as well. Okay, so I had to reduce the boss's Richard speed penalty basically, but the chance is not 100%. So yeah, that's it. Even when we scroll her, it's not 100%, so it's only 50%. So it was kind of random, but I eventually get through. And this damage reduction and damage delay really helps to keep Ardref and Sagomir alive. So that was a big change. I tried Alvis, I tried another healer, Margaret, the common one, but with Fessa at level 50, that was the sweet spot, okay? So that saved me a lot of experience potions as well. And the last team at Shai Nacton. So yeah, I had to try a few times as well to get this 22 million, truth to be told. It was hard to get to 22 million, but once I cracked what's happening, I got over 26 million. So what we used here is Ripikas with defensive setback, witches remain. So he has a chance to apply all these random debuffs, and we definitely are looking for attack penalty and Richard speed penalty. Accuracy penalty is not bad as well, but buff prohibition is also cool because the boss doesn't get his buff there. So it's all a little bit random. That's why, as you can see, I was trying to get to 22 million and I got to 26 eventually. The damage dealers, the main damage dealer will be Daverick here, and putting in Silver Star Horseshoe was a way better than the Eyeball, and he's not skilled. As you can see, I tried to skill at least the damage portion because I'm not going to build him with accuracy. He's not here to apply attack penalty. He's here to deal damage. So I tried to use 2 scrolls to get 10% damage here and 10% damage here. It didn't work. 2 went here. So I'm not going to utilize this accuracy penalty, so I stopped. I'm low on the scrolls now. Second damage dealer will be Zadok with Eyeball of the Giant, way better, and he's not scrolled as well. So in theory, I could increase his damage quite significantly. It took a while for his ultimate to stack, but it eventually got there, and we dealt 26 million. Fia, don't neglect Fia's damage. She can do a lot. I didn't build her with Enlightenment to boost her healing. I built her with downpipe organs so she can give all her attack to everyone else, and this healing set is not the best for her. She used this 3-piece effect on skeletons of Zadok very often, so definitely I'll probably reconsider this and put an attack-oriented set, so to boost her attack even more. And the more attack she's got, the more attack every range hero on my team has, which equals to more damage done. And then we have Zarlov, damage oriented as well with accuracy, just to make sure we have this Richard speed penalty here. And healing, so attack oriented as well, and this worked really well. I mean, I've done Losenia, 18 million, so I am close, but not quite there yet. So that was 13 teams over 22 million damage. So what I'm going to do going forward is daily, just 1 elemental domain plus this adventure preparation until I can do 22 million on Losenia. And let's look at my Otherworld Exploration score right now. So on the first day, I got to 39,500 experience. If I could do 22 million on Losenia, that would be over 40,000 on the first day. I've done the first daily quests. completed the challenge Chaos Shadows 5 times, because I've done it 13 times. As you can see, the preparation, you don't really need it for any achievements yet. You only get it here, so you can have 1200 experience, which is the same as 11 million on the bosses, but you also get 100 from a quest. So in total, you get 1300 compared to 1200 from the boss. So that's why if I can get Olosenia to 22 million, I will drop it, because that will give me 2,500, which is almost double of that. And the only thing you need this adventure preparation is for this achievement here for the guild, where you can get 2000. So this is why it's a good idea for everyone to chip in for at least a few days. And also this buff here, you definitely want it, okay? So 30% of the damage taken will be converted into a shield. So for the time being, the servers have to work together to get these buffs, so the end game is easier. Okay, and yeah, as you can see, 39,500 experience on the first day. And obviously I updated my spreadsheet, so if you're looking for this information outside of the video, you can find it in my spreadsheet, where I highlighted all the teams I've done, and this one here as well, 18 million. So the total experience I'll be getting daily without anything, without any domains, and the preparation will be at 30,000 experience per day with what I've done here. So that is quite good, because eventually we will get to this last tier here, and those rewards rotate every 40,000, I believe. So I'll be very close to getting most of them daily. I think the maximum experience you can get is like 35,000 if you do 15 bosses. So being at 30,000 at the moment is quite good. So yeah, that's me on day one. That was a long day, I'm not gonna lie. I spent almost all day trying to figure these teams out, and hopefully my spreadsheet and this video will help you to make the best of it once you get to it. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you do, please click the like button and consider subscribing to my channel. As always, thank you for watching. Stay safe. Bye!